Yeah,
All right.
as long as you can see it.
All right, Sam. 121, 112. Cavs just couldn't get it done. There were streaks, okay, but what do you think is the number one thing the Cavs needed to tighten up tonight?
Well, they needed to defend the three-point line better. Obviously, I mean, Indiana's not going to shoot like that. I wouldn't assume the entire series. 19 of 36, which is about 53% on three-pointers. It really came down to that first quarter, right? I mean, that's when Indiana was hitting everything. They had the Cavs kind of in a blender defensively. And after that, the Cavs cleaned it up. But it just seemed like they had to expend all their energy to get back in the game after trailing by 11 after the first quarter.
Well, and then offensively, the Cavs were a little bit cold, especially from three.
Yeah.
9 of 38 from three. Sam, what do you think that was all about?
I think part of that was you felt Darius Garland absence a little bit, if not a lot. You know, I mean, there's one of your top three-point shooters. He's not just a good three-point shooter, but he's going to generate looks for other people. A big stat that the Cavs keep is shot quality, and they weren't getting a lot of quality looks at the basket. And, you know, I was just in the locker room. The spirits are high right now. They're not, obviously not celebrating, but they're not, you know, Kenny Atkinson said it in his press conference, you got to win 4. So, you know, they knew it was probably going to be a longer type of series, and just have to get that cleaned up, have to get the perimeter defense cleaned up. And like you said, the offense was not clicking. Kenny Atkinson kind of blamed that a little bit. The offense was, Cavs had to scrap for every basket.
I was just telling someone pregame, like, the way that the Pacers are going to beat us is if we just either don't get back in transition defense or figure out our defense rotationally, or if the Cavs are just like a little not on top of their offensive game.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
Because the
yeah.
Pacers, they don't miss, and they're fast, they get back.
Yeah.
How about in terms of just, this is an interesting one, so many bodies hit the floor tonight.
Yeah.
Like, it was loud.
Yeah.
People were banged up. Are you a little concerned? You know, do you think they'll bounce back physically?
Yeah, that's a great question because it was a very physical game. It was much more physical than the Miami series, and you saw that in the first half of this one alone. There's concern, obviously, not just with Darius Garland's toe, but we saw Ty Jerome take a hard fall. He came back in and played, so I would think that he'd be okay. Saw Evan Mobley limping a little bit, but he played through it. And Donovan was getting banged up on those drives to the basket. So, you know, one of the things they're going to have to do next game, which Kenny Atkinson stressed, Ty Jerome talked about it just now a little bit, is don't let the ball stick. Keep it moving, which is obviously more tough to do without your all-star point guard in there. But you got to keep the ball moving, and that's going to create open looks, theoretically, and therefore you're not going to get banged around so much by having to drive to the basket. So, you know, no, I didn't think that the Cavs would sweep them. I thought that the possibility existed that if they lost a game early, it would be game 1 as opposed to 2. Mm-hmm. So you just got to come back, get game 2, and then obviously you got to get one in Indiana. But I think that they did. They figured some things out there in the second half. If they can get Darius Garland back, I think that would be, having figured those things out with your all-star point guard, I still think the Cavs should win this series.
Game 2, Tuesday night.
See you there.